Dear YouTube, Mercedes ML fans, here I am in May of 2025 with my ML500, my V8 powered with the m113 engine, SUV, fantastic rig, after dark work. It's so hot here in the south. I'm working in the dark, so it's comfortable. Rig has 192,000 miles on it. Engine's desperately in need of new plugs. I thought I'd do coils and wires and vacuum hoses and a couple of radiator hoses all at the same time. Maybe an O2 sensor while I'm in there. But I thought I'd document this. So here's what the engine used to look like. This is the side yet undone. Pretty nasty, huh? Hey, pop your engine cover there, Mercedes-Benz people, and see if it doesn't look like this. Believe it or not, it ran well. It was running good, but starting to pop engine codes for O2 sensor and this, occasional misfire. Running relatively smooth, but mileage was only about 18. It could maybe crack 20.5, but it had been doing better than that. So starting to slip, and I knew the plugs were 9 years old and 90,000 miles. So I ordered a whole kit off Amazon to do all that, and I thought I'd show you that. Here's the side yet undone. But here's what it looks like when it's cleaned up and better. So, quite a contrast, right? My theologically minded friends would say I've just left hell and I've gone to heaven, which I heartily agree with. And heaven's definitely got a clean engine. So what that is a new valve cover gasket. See the blue outline there? That's a Felpro brand. High quality rubber valve cover gasket. Cleaned that whole thing with a toothbrush, basically soaked it in diesel because it did look almost as bad as that other one over there. And then after diesel, 5-gallon bucket of diesel, soaking it a day, flipping it over to do, because it's longer than the diesel level is high. And then I detergent hot water in the sink, and then I had to redo the breather cover. These engines have a breather cover here. You'll need to put RTV sealant on that and be real careful doing that exactly as it says in the factory manual or all the videos you see online. Okay, so that is an ENA engine kit, just for details for anybody who cares. I got 8 new coils, 16 wires. Obviously, they're kind of got that blingy red thing going on. And then 16 iridium spark plugs. And yes, it was China parts, but I have no objection because monetarily it was doable. 192 bucks for that whole kit. I don't know if it's gone up because the tariffs threat. I actually think some things are not going up in price because the tariff thing is actually made just to scare China into dropping their tariffs. So maybe it's still 192 on Amazon. Feel free to look it up, or maybe I'll put a link in there if you bug me. But let's go over here in a second. I'll show you the other parts of the kit. Okay, here's the parts for the other side, not yet installed. We've got our spark plug wires. And by the way, too, there's a code embossed on your valve cover rockers, and it gives a length to the different spark plug wires. The code goes like this. The G ones, there's 9 of them. The K ones, there's 4 of them. The H ones, there's 2. And the L is there's only 1. And you're going to group your spark plug wires, presuming you buy a set that's matched, which you pretty much have to make them fit right. And then you write down which are which and separate them out. And then you can just look at each coil, 4 in each bank, and pick the right length wires. That's how that works. Okay, what's going on? The valve cover leaks is one reason this job was precipitated, but I knew the plugs were super old. I apologize for not having one of those plugs out. I put them all in and then decided to shoot this video. So they're a really nice looking iridium plug. Looked equivalent to a Bosch iridium or an NGK. The Felpro gaskets are said to be fantastic. Everyone reviewing them on Amazon said they did not leak. That's what it is for the Mercedes V8, called a VS50842R. They do make a shorter one for the V6 m113 related engine, and I did put those on about 2 months ago, and they're perfect and not leaking, so I'm happy. Here's a vacuum hose set. They sell these in a set of 4 hoses. And for some odd reason, you got to buy this little vacuum junction separately. But those parts all relate. They go on top of the fuel throttle body, and then these go to the various 2 valve covers, breathers on either side of the engine. Okay, so you may have to, I didn't find a kit that had all 4 hoses and this junction. Do not know why. Also, there's little plastic connector pieces, 3 of them, that join these hoses together, and you'll need 3 of those. And I'm sorry I don't have the part numbers for all this, but I'm just putting you on awareness to be aware of that. Also, if you're doing the V8 and your vehicle's older, I would recommend doing these 2 formed, very strange, very unique, specific to this model Mercedes ML radiator hoses, because they're buried behind the engine. I'm showing you one. I don't really have the other because I'm waiting for it still to come in. That's the one that goes on the driver's side rear of the engine, and it interacts with the coolant tank. Okay, so here's the brand of the spark plug wire and coil set that I bought. ENA, Premium Auto Parts. They got good reviews, and we'll see how they work. I did buy these similar China parts for the V6 wagon that I have, and I did them, what, a month and a half ago, and they're working fantastic. So that gave me confidence to buy this bigger set. On the V6 I just bought, what did I buy? Oh, plugs and coils. I didn't buy wires because I had already replaced them about 3 years ago. So that's a really good looking coil. They look perfect. They look exactly like the Bosch ones I bought 8 years ago for the V6 and the wagon. So you got to admit, it's a pretty smoking deal to get 8 of these coils, 16 plug wires, and 16 iridium plugs for $192. You just cannot beat that deal anywhere. That's as good as she gets. When you're doing a job like this, look at all the other parts too, like O2 sensor. Where do I have it here? It's here somewhere. Anyways, my O2 sensor was starting to throw codes. I'm just going to replace it as a matter of course. And you have other little things. Sorry for being kind of random here, but it's late. I'm tired. That seal right there goes inside the tube. That's your whole intake plumbing. By the way, try to keep this thing in good shape when you replace it, or when you pull it on and off the engine. It's very hard to get it in and out of there. You really got to snake it and carefully twist it. And I researched it. I could not find these for sale except occasionally on eBay, but they don't. It seems to be a no longer offered part by Mercedes. And there's my Spectra Premium O2 sensor that I'll be replacing, simply because it's very accessible, and I was getting the occasional code for the right upstream O2 sensor. Here is the one hose that I'm waiting for the new one to come in for. This one goes from the auxiliary pump on that end up to the tank, the coolant overflow tank on the upper end. Okay, guys. Well, that's my documentation for this job. It's worth it. It's going to take me a while to finish up, but you're doing so many things at once. And by the way, you're saving like $2 to $3 grand in labor. They get a boatload of money just to change the spark plugs. And then, of course, when when it's been 10 years, if you're smart, you'll replace all these parts. And the engine was very clean under there. I've only used synthetic oil, changed it every 8,000 miles, done the filter at every 4,000 miles. So I've been really fastidious about my maintenance here. And these trucks age, things happen, like they're disgusting cracked windshield washer reservoir. That job is coming next after the engine is running well, and I'll put to bed. I'm going to do this. The bummer thing is, to do the coolant reservoir, you got to take apart this corner of the vehicle, and you got to go and watch the killer video the lady mechanic from Colorado did. Very thorough, showing all the different parts and how exactly every step to do this. But it's not a small job, and Mercedes kind of blew it by not making this thing actually just fit in there without having to take everything apart. They should have made the bottle smaller. Who would care if it's smaller and you could just slot it in and out? It'd be easy. But anyways, part of the trials and tribulations of owning any kind of car is dealing with the idiosyncratic nature. And of course, when you want your engine to look like that, it's worth the effort to prevent it and stop it from looking like that. And then it's going to run fantastic. It already ran well. Now it's going to run like a dream. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Take care, drive safe, and God bless you. Bye-bye.